Shalom, Israel. Most High in Christ bless. Happy Sabbath. Sending happy Sabbath out there to you and your loved ones. All right, we're about to get straight into it because we had a little bit of technical difficulties. But nonetheless, we're here. And we give thanks to the Most High God for everything. Everything, give thanks. Blessed be the name of Yahweh. So we want to greet you in the name of the Father. His name is Yahweh. All right, in the Paleo Hebrew. And in the name of his Son as well, who the world calls Jesus Christ. His name is Yahweh Shai in the Hebrew. We want to say welcome to you on today's Sabbath class. All praises. We're going to get straight into it. The rise of Mystery Babylon. The rise of Mystery Babylon. So you're going to get a revelatory and prophetic breakdown of Babylon's ancient system, its modern fulfillment in today's time. All right? So, how many of you know that when it comes to the one world order that they're so effortlessly trying to bring about, that's not something new. That's something that has been in the earth for as you go back to the beginning of time. You understand that? And we're going to show you that through the scriptures. All right? Let's go to Genesis chapter 10. Genesis chapter 10, verse 8.
Genesis chapter 10 and verse 8. And Cush begat Nimrod.
Cush begat Nimrod.
He began to be a mighty one in the earth.
So Nimrod was a mighty one in the earth. Read on.
He was a mighty hunter before the Lord.
He was a mighty hunter. All right, read on.
Wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord, and the beginning of his kingdom.
The beginning of his kingdom
was Babel.
Was Babel. All right, so the beginning of his kingdom, Nimrod, was Babel. Read on.
And Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh, in the land of Shinar.
In the land of Shinar. You understand that? So that was the beginning of his kingdom, Nimrod, Babel. All right. Let's get Genesis 11, verses 1 to 9.
Genesis chapter 11, verse 1.
So listen closely.
And the whole earth was of one language.
The whole earth was speaking one language back then. Like today you have different languages. We'll see what happened. Read on.
And of one speech.
One speech. So one language, one speech. Read on.
And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar. And they dwelt there.
And they dwelt there. Read on.
And they said one to another, Go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly.
So let's make brick. In talking about building, they want to build a structure. Read on.
And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar.
Read on.
And they said, Go to, let us build us a city and a tower.
So they conspired to build a city and a tower. Read on.
Whose top may reach unto heaven.
Whose top may reach unto heaven. Come on.
Let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth.
Good. They wanted to make a name for themselves so that their remembrance can remain in the earth. Read on.
And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the children of men builded.
So the Lord sent his heavenly hosts to see out and spy out and see what's really going on. What's really taking place. Read on.
And the Lord said, Behold, the people is one, and they have all.
The people are what?
Is one.
The people are one. The people are one. So, again, this spirit of, all of the whole entire earth flowing in unison, it's not just now. These spirits go all the way back to back then. Read on.
And they have all one language.
All one language.
And this they begin to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do.
Nothing would be restrained from them because they come together in one unison, right? They vow to accomplish this thing, and that is what they said they would do. Read on.
Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language.
Confound their language. Come on.
that they may not understand one another's speech.
All right, so separating of languages. Read on.
So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth.
So the Lord never intended it for all to just be as one. Understand that. If the Lord wanted everything to be as one, he would just have left it. He would have just left it the way it was. So he confounded the languages. I want everyone to understand. Read on.
And they left off to build a city. Therefore is the name of it called Babel.
It's called Babel. So in other words, the Tower of Babel. Read on.
Because the Lord did there confound the language of all the earth.
Confound the language of all the earth. Read on.
And from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth.
Scattered them. So you see the scattering happening there. All right. Now, give me a little tidbit on Babel and Babylon. Read that for me.
Babel and Babylon refer to the same place.
Babel and Babylon refer to the same place geographically. Understand that. Read on.
An ancient city in Mesopotamia.
So it was an ancient city in Mesopotamia.
Babel is the name used in Hebrew manuscripts in Genesis 11. The Hebrew text plays on the sound of the word Babel to connect it with the Hebrew verb balal.
Balal. So the Hebrew, balal. Read on.
Which means to confuse.
To what?
To confuse.
To confuse. That's where that word balal or Babel comes from. To confuse. Read on.
Or to confound.
Or to confound. Read.
Referring to how God confused their languages there.
Read.
Babylon is the name used in later texts.
Okay, so in the later prophecies, you see the word Babylon being used. Babylon, right? Read on.
Including the Greek and English translations of the Bible.
Read.
It is derived from the city's native Akkadian name.
So it's the Akkadian version of the name, all right? Babel. Read on.
Babelim, which translates to gate of God.
Gate of God. Read on.
Babel.
So that's the Akkadian. Babylon. All right, go back to, what's the word?
Babelim.
Babylem. Gate of God. Read on.
Babel is the term used for the city in its earliest biblical mention.
So you understand. So in Babel is the same place where Babylon is. Both are the same ancient city in Mesopotamia. But they're sounded different based on where in the Bible you would be reading it. Read on.
Babylon is the name of the same city that became the famous capital of the later Babylonian Empire.
Read on.
Babel represents the beginning of human rebellion.
So Babel represents the beginning of human rebellion, right? The rebellion of man when they consorted together to come together as one, right? Read on.
Against God, marked by the attempt to build a tower to the heavens and resulting in the confusion of languages.
The confusion of the languages. That's it on that?
There's more.
Read on.
More. Babylon represents a powerful, opulent, and consistently wicked empire.
So you got to understand something about Babylon when you read about it in the later texts, in the prophetic texts. It represents what? What was happening in Babylon, right? The ruler of Babylon ruled with an iron fist, all right? He was feared among the earth. He was feared among nations. There were different rulers. Of course, it wasn't one ruler, but of course, you know about one of the famous rulers, Lucifer, that Babylonian king. He ruled with an iron fist, all right? They had riches, wealth, opulence. They were the world's superpower at that time. Read on.
That was used by God to punish Israel.
But make no mistake about it. God used Babylon to punish the Israelites. Everyone understand? So all of the power, all of the opulence, all of the eminence and the preeminence that Babylon received, it came straight from God. Read on.
The Babylonian exile, and later spiritually regenerated as a symbol of worldliness and evil as depicted throughout prophecy.
So you're going to find that Babylon spiritually has regenerated now today. And we're going to read and you're going to see through prophecy which country fits or which nation fits Babylon. But you're going to see the rise of Babylon. All right? Good. So Babylon, centralized control. Unified humanity under rebellion. All right? So that's where you can see the first instance of globalism, oneness, one world coming into play. All right? So that unity was a forced unity though. All right? So the spirit of Babylon has regenerated, and we'll show you, the significance of that. Let's get Job 11 and 6. Job 11 and verse 6.
Job chapter 11 and verse 6. And that he would shew thee the secrets of wisdom.
So the secrets of wisdom that come from the Most High God. All right? I'm going to show you something. Read on.
That they are double.
They are what?
They are double.
They are double. That's how you could know what's happening in each dispensation, because as one nation rise and one nation falls, the same thing happens in another dispensation, almost exactly the same way it happened before. You understand that? So drop that and give me Hosea 12 and verse 10. So this is what you must understand. The prophecies, they are dual dispensation. So when you're reading about prophecies and maybe one of them have already come to pass, it doesn't mean it's not going to come to pass again. Because the secrets of wisdom, they are what? Double. Hosea 12 and 10.
Hosea chapter 12 and verse 10. I have also spoken by the prophets.
He's spoken by the prophets. All the prophets you read of, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, and so on. Read on.
And I have multiplied visions.
You have multiplied visions. What does that mean? The visions that the prophets received from the Lord, he has multiplied them so they span across what? Dispensations. They multiply. We just read their double. Right? The secrets of wisdom. But what you have to understand, going a step further, is that when the prophets have received prophecies, they don't just speak to that time or one time only in the future. Read it again.
I have also spoken by the prophets, and I have multiplied visions.
Multiplied visions. Read on.
And used similitudes.
Use similitudes like similes. Read on.
By the ministry of the prophets.
By the ministry of the prophets. So, like for instance, similitudes is like similes, metaphors, allegories. That's why when you're reading this Bible, it may sound like one thing, but because you're not rooted in the truth, you're not understanding what the Bible is actually saying. It needs to be broken down to you. The meaning of it is double. All right? Even when it comes to dreams, dreams are double as well. They got double meanings. You're going to be reading that one of the prophets received a dream about a chicken walking going down the road, and it has nothing to do with a chicken walking going down the road. It's way deeper. It's symbolisms. The Lord always uses symbolisms. But again, we just learned that it is double when it comes to how the prophecies come out. They don't just speak to one particular time, but it can now mirror dispensations. All right? So because we know what happened in Egypt, we know what's going to happen in Assyria. We know what's going to happen in Persia. We know what's going to happen in Greece. We know what's going to happen in Rome. And whatever else came after Rome, we can know through the prophecies because they are double. Good. Moving right on. Drop that and give me Deuteronomy 28 and verse 49. Deuteronomy 28, verse 49.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far.
So now the Lord prophesied to the Israelites, all right,
From
that
the,
he will bring a nation from far against them. Now, what the Lord is doing in Deuteronomy 28 is reading to them what their fate would be should they break his covenant, his holy agreement. And he told them, should you break it, I will bring a nation against your nation, Israel, from far. Read on.
from the end of the earth,
From the end of the earth,
as swift as the eagle flieth.
as swift as the eagle flieth. You understand that? Read.
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
Whose tongue you shall not understand. Read.
A nation of fierce countenance,
A nation of fierce countenance. Read.
which shall not regard the person of the old, nor shew favor to the young.
No favor to the young, not regarding the old. This is talking about what happened to... Now, the Israelites at that point in time, they couldn't understand that. They couldn't understand that thing. They didn't realize that their descendants would now go into slavery and have to answer to the white man on the plantation. And the nation would be sent to them from far. That showed no regard to the old. If whether you were old, you would have to get out there in the plantation fields and cut down the sugar cane and cut the... Sorry, Cap, they would have make you go out there, you know, and just chop down. They would have make you gotta chop it down. The same way they would have make my daughter go out there and do her part as well, and my son. No regard for the young or the old. Right? The Israelites at that time couldn't understand that thing. Right? So now the eagle. That's it on that? We go back to the eagle. Read that part for me again, verse 49.
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth.
Eagle, the eagle flieth as swift. Now, we talk about symbolisms. We talk about prophecies being double. We talk about the secrets of wisdom being double. We talk about how the Lord uses the prophets and he uses allegories, similitudes. He uses all of these symbolisms that you think it's just talking about the Lord being colorful with his language, but you're not looking at the symbolism behind it. Now we're going to give you a little tidbit on the eagle. All right? We're going to give you a little tidbit on the eagle. Read that for me.
The eagle has been appropriated by successive world powers.
So all of the world powers, all of the major world powers, right? The ancient ones, this is what they did.
To symbolize their divine authority.
They use the eagle to symbolize that. You're going to see it on their signets. You're going to see it on, their imperial seals. Read on.
Military swiftness and global reach.
And it signifies their global reach because the eagle is a signet or a sign of, power, dominance. If you ever see an eagle, it's a very, quote unquote, majestic looking bird. Its wingspan, you would not believe. It's over 15 feet. You can look it up. That's not a small bird. That bird is what you call an apex predator. There's nothing that hunts it. It hunts everything. And its talons, so sharp. And its eyesight is so precise that from 1.5 miles away, it can spot its prey. And it can just do a nosedive right to the prey, get it in its talons, and you're wondering to yourself, in the time it took you to realize it already flew away with that nice tasty meal out of the water, you didn't even realize with your naked eye that it just happened. You didn't realize. That's how amazing the Lord made the eagle. But it says here the other nations have used that eagle, the symbolism of the eagle, to represent their military power, to represent their strength. Read on.
The continuity begins biblically with Babylon, symbolized in prophecy as a great eagle with great wings.
So Babylon used the eagle to represent their imperial seal. Read on.
Representing Nebuchadnezzar's far-reaching conquest.
Read.
The motif was carried to the Near East by Persia and then cemented in Western tradition by Greece.
So Persia now adopted it themselves. Greece now adopted it themselves because they realize how powerful that signet looks. Read on.
Where it was the emblem of their supreme sky god.
Wow. So even their sky god used that signet of the eagle to represent their imperialism. Read on.
From there, it became the iconic eagle standard of every legion in Rome.
Wow. Every legion in Rome used that eagle as a standard for their seal. Read on.
Signifying the military might and the person of the emperor, Jupiter's messenger.
Wow. To signify their might and their power. Read on.
Finally, the American bald eagle was chosen by the founding fathers of the United States not to signal its arrival as a new empire in the tradition of the great powers of the world.
Read on. That's it? Okay, good. So now, America today uses the eagle. Now, America is currently one of the largest world superpowers right now. Right? There hasn't come any after America to do it on their level. None, bar none. That's facts. And so, when it comes to America using that eagle, now, like we mentioned, Babylon used it, Persia used it, Greece used it, Rome used it, America is now using it as the imperial seal. I'm not sure if you know, when you look on America's imperial seal, you see that eagle, and in its right talon, it's holding what? An olive branch. For those of you that ever traveled to America, looked at American movies or media, you see in the White House, they have that eagle where the president sits, and that eagle is in the background, and it's in its right talon or its right claws, it's holding what? The olive branch. In its left talon, it's holding what? 13 arrows. Now, they say that the 13 arrows, when they first implemented it, I think it was in the what? The 1700s? Was in the 1700s is when they implemented the seal, or the 1800s? It should be there in the notes somewhere, right? They said the 13 arrows represents the 13 original states of the United States, right? And it also says, now here's the thing, the 13 arrows represent its ability to go to war with whoever, whenever, wherever. But now, if you look at the eagle, it's facing the right side that the olive branch is being held on. And they said the reason why the eagle is facing the right side because America prefers peace over war. That's ironic, right? They prefer peace over war when all of their conquests have been founded in war. They took America by blood. They invade other countries for their resources and they take it by blood. So it's a wonder how the Mosai is going to take it back from them. Right? Maybe I'm just saying, maybe it might be by blood. I might be crazy here, but maybe that's what's in the scriptures. We don't know. We're going to see though. We're going to see. All right, so America, their eagle, if you look in the beak, you're going to see it's holding a ribbon. And in that ribbon, you can look it up on Google Images. That ribbon says, E pluribus unum. And that is Latin for out of many, one. Which is the same idea as Babel. We just read about Babel. When all of them came together as one. consented together as one to go and build that tower. So again, when you look in that beak, that ribbon that's hanging out of the beak of the American imperial seal, you will see in the eagle's beak, E pluribus unum, which means out of many, one. Now, it just so happened, I was, trying to spend some time with the family. We saw this weird show. We had just put the children to sleep. And we saw this weird, it was a thumbnail for a show. And I was like, what is that? Why does that thumbnail look so weird? It looks normal, but it looks weird, but it looks strange. Right? So we click on it. We've seen what this show is about. And I kid you not, the name of the show, you check it out. It's called Pluribus. Pluribus. It's called Pluribus. And we're watching the first episode and we're trying to figure out what's going on here. I don't want to give it away and give any spoilers. But let's just put it this way. You know what pluribus means? E pluribus unum, out of many one. There is a section even in the first episode of what's happening around the world. It's a worldwide thing. And what's happening is whatever is affecting the world, the whole entire earth, this thing is turning everyone into one mind. And this thing that's controlling them. If you talk to one person, you're talking to all. Out of one, many. And something in that show, it said, when the person who was not affected by it was speaking to one of them who was affected by it, said, are all of you like this? And the person who got infected by the thing said, we're all like this. So she said, do I have to talk to somebody else? She said, no, you don't have to talk to anybody else. When you're speaking to me, you're speaking to all of us. All of us hears it at the same time. We're all one. I was like, wait, what? Pluribus. Out of many, one. So it's no coincidence. All of the prophecies that line up with Babylon, you're going to see it playing out in modern day times today. Because the secrets of wisdom, they're double. And that's what you're going to see happening today. So it's no coincidence why their signet with the eagle has that E pluribus unum. All right? So a single empire uniting many people under one global philosophy. And doesn't it sound very eerily similar to what they're trying to do today? For those of you who may be in the know of what they're trying to do worldwide in terms of having a one world order, a new world order of everything operating under one global philosophy. A unified global philosophy, right? So, the eagle, that's that signature right there of Gentile world domination, all right? But let's check out Greece and Rome real quick. Let's go to 1 Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 41. 1 Maccabees chapter 1, verse 41. First Maccabees 1, verse 41. Read down to verse 50.
First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people.
So during the Grecian Empire, King Antiochus, he did what? Read it again.
He went to his whole kingdom that all should be one people.
So King Antiochus was trying to bring about global oneness in philosophy. Read on.
And everyone should leave his laws.
Everyone should leave his laws. Mind you, this is way back in ancient Greece when they were ruling as a power. Read on.
So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king.
Good. So all of the heathen, all of the nations, they agreed according to King Antiochus. Read on.
Yeah, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion.
Many of our people, your forefathers, the Israelite, they agreed to his religion, his way of life, his global philosophy. Read on.
And sacrificed unto idols.
And they sacrificed unto idols. Like many of our people do today without knowing what they're doing. They celebrate. Now, many people are about to go and celebrate Thanksgiving Day next week and say, oh, the reason why I do it is not because the pilgrims stole the land from the native Indians. I'm doing it because I just want, it's a day that I get off, and it's a day that I get to give thanks to God. God doesn't regard that day. God gave us a day called what? Feast of what? No. What day we give thanks to the Lord? By giving him our first fruits. Pentecost, our feast of first fruits. We give thanks to the Lord. He didn't command you to keep. So you see it happening here. Our forefathers being given into idolatry. Read on.
And profaned the Sabbath.
Profane the Sabbath. Not keep breaking the Sabbath, or not keeping the Sabbath, or defiling the Sabbath. Read on.
For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah.
Because once the king speaks, everyone in the land has to follow. Read on.
That they should follow the strange laws of the land.
They should follow the strange laws of Greece. Read on.
And forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice.
So we couldn't sacrifice in our temples. Read on.
And drink offerings in the temple.
And we couldn't give drink offerings to the Lord. Read on.
And that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days.
And we should not keep the Sabbaths. We should not keep the feast days. That's what in Greece they told our people. We cannot keep those things. Just like today, if you tell someone, I'm keeping the Feast of Dedication, they say, what? No, because we've been so westernized now. From them till now. From then till now. It's normal now. Now people are asking you, why are you keeping God's feast days? Why are you going to Leviticus 23 and keeping the holy days? Shouldn't you be keeping Christmas and Thanksgiving and Mother's Day and Father's Day and every pagan holiday that the wicked rulers that set over you gave you to keep? That's what's happening here. These wicked rulers, they told all of the nations, leave from their customs. And that's what happened to us. Read on.
And pollute the sanctuary and holy people.
Read on.
Set up altars and groves and chapels of idols.
Set up chapels. That's that Christmas tree, that idol, that Christmas tree. You're bowing down to it every year. Talking about, it's for the kids. Yeah, the kids gonna get you killed. Read on.
And sacrifice swine's flesh.
And eating that swine's flesh. Everybody about to eat that pork come Thursday next week. Everybody about to eat that pork on December 25th. Sacrificing swine's flesh unto an idol that they don't have no idea what the name of that idol is, but they're eating it. The same way, I don't sacrifice that thing. Yes, you do. Once you eat in commemoration of something, you're sacrificing to that thing. Read on.
And unclean beast.
Read.
That they should also leave their children uncircumcised.
Should leave their children uncircumcised, both spiritually and physically, not teaching your children the laws, not teaching them about God's feast days, but you teach them about all of the world's feast days. You teach them about birthdays. You teach them about coming home to celebrate Halloween. Are we going trick and treat later? Yeah, little Jimmy, we going trick or treat. Can I dress up like Spider-Man? Yeah, you sure can, because we saw it on TV and it looks cool. You're leaving your children uncircumcised. That means they're not going to enter the kingdom. It's no uncircumcised, whether it's through the Spirit, you're not going to enter. Read on.
And make their souls abominable.
Make their souls abominable. Read on.
With all manner of uncleanness and profanation.
All manner of uncleanness and profanation. Read on.
To the end they might forget the law.
That they might what?
Forget the law.
Forget the law. This is the reason for global world oneness. Global, what you call philosophy in oneness, one world order, is so that you forget God's laws. And many of you have forgotten it. The mission successful? They have forgotten God's laws. No one knows about Feast of Tabernacles. No one knows about Feast of Dedication. No one knows that the Sabbath is on the seventh day. No one knows that we got to keep the Feast of First Fruits. So it seems as though their mission was successful, right? Wrong. You got the men of the Lord that's coming to wake our people up. That's why you're watching these classes, so you can come back to what the original laws of God were. That's why we're here. Read on.
And change all the ordinances.
Change all of the ordinances. Now you ain't got to keep the Sabbath day. Now you go to church on Sunday. Right? Changing all of the Lord's ordinances, and you think that's normal to the point where you're now defending it? Saying, well, I go to church on Sunday because it just feels better. It just feels a lot more, on Saturday, I just do my thing, go to town and go shopping because of this. It has been set in motion since the times of the Grecian Empire, the Roman Empire. That's why it feels normal. You got thousands of years to thank for that. Read on.
And whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king.
Whosoever didn't do according to what the king in Greece around the time of the Grecian Empire said. Read on.
He said he should die.
He should what?
He should die.
He should die. But did that spirit die though? Everyone should, if they don't follow a one world order, that ramifications should happen should you not follow the one world order. Is that spirit still alive today? Absolutely. And y'all going to experience it even in this generation. Y'all going to experience it. Because what you're going to find out is that we're living in the last order of the last standing world power that's in rulership today. Y'all going to experience some things. All right? So drop that for me. Read the next verse for me. Read the next verse.
In the selfsame manner wrote he to his whole kingdom.
What verse you at?
Verse 51.
Verse 51. You could drop it there. You could drop it there. So forced cultural assimilation, centralized education, philosophy, identity reconstruction. That's what you have happening here. Your identity being reconstructed even back in ancient Greece, when the ancient Grecians ruled over your people. They made it a mandate that you do not follow God's laws. That's how you became Gentiles. Hello, somebody. That's why when you read in the New Testament, the Gentiles that Paul went to were the same people that they got forced into what? Cultural assimilation. They got forced into centralized education. They got forced into a oneness in philosophy. Identity reconstruction. So no longer did they call themselves Israelites or call themselves the Jews. They call themselves what? Grecians and Romans. That's how you became Gentiles. For those who wonder in the New Testament, well, Paul said he's going to the Gentiles. It's talking about the other. No. It's talking about y'all who got Hellenized. Hellenized meaning Queen Helene. How she forced Queen Helene of Rome. How she forced everybody who was living in Rome to make sure that they follow the rules and the laws and the statutes of Rome. And you leave off from your identity culturally. You don't have an identity when you're in Rome. You be what we tell you to be. You be a Roman. And just like today, that's why you're an American. That's why you're a Kittian. That's why you're a Guyanese. That's why you're Trinidadian. That's why you're Cuban. You are what we say you are. They don't care about your bloodline and who you come from. Now today there's people defending that. Well, I don't care about my bloodline. I care about where I was born. You would hear people argue that all day. I'm an American. Who said that the other day? One of the comedians. Was it? He said, listen, man, I ain't no African American, or he said, listen, I'm an American. I was born here in America, right? Now, technically, you're born in America, but what about your bloodline, sir? Where do you descend from? Who do you come from? Have you been so westernized that doesn't matter anymore? That's sad. But you know what it is? People want to be a part of something what? Great, strong. I'm an American. Because when they see, listen, I saw one of the most redneck commercials you could ever see. Ever in your life. Listen, if I show that, listen, we gonna need to show that. Come back to this class. Remember these words. I'm gonna show that thing. Once we get the new setup going, I saw one of the most redneck commercials ever. You saw F-15 fighter jets flying through the sky, and you hear the voiceover. When we talk about American, we're talking about the red, white, and blue. And listen, I'm seeing dudes in Ram trucks saying, yeah! And redneck dudes just wilding out and it's a car commercial. The F-15 fighter jets, they're flying with red, white, and blue smoke coming out of the jet. The American flag waving in the background. But people want to be identified with something what? Strong. We the strong nation of the earth. So that's why many persons would say, I'm a proud what? American. I'm a proud American. And in America, it says what? It's the land of what? Opportunity, right? The land of, or what's that? The land of the brave, home of the free. Wow. Or land of the slave. Whew. That's heavy right there, right? Because remember, when they got their independence, your forefathers were still in change in the year 1776. Do everybody understand that? Well, let's read on. All right, let's read a tidbit about Rome, all right, which was the iron hand of Babylon. Daniel 2 and verse 40. Daniel 2, verse 40. Daniel chapter 2, verse 40.
Daniel chapter 2 and verse 40. And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron.
The fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron. Come on.
For as much as iron breaketh in pieces, and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise.
Shall it break in pieces. All right, so this is talking about what? Rome. Now, Rome was a very cutthroat nation. They were the new Grecians because they took over the Grecians. You understand? So when it comes to Esau, they don't care if even some of their own die as casualties. They're into domination. And if you're not with us, then you're in the way. If you're not with us, you're in the way. Right? So that fourth kingdom is going to be strong as iron. All right? Let's jump over to Daniel 7 and verse 7. Daniel 7 and verse 7.
Daniel chapter 7 and verse 7. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast.
A fourth beast, come on.
Dreadful and terrible.
Dreadful and terrible, come on.
And strong exceedingly.
Oh, very strong exceedingly, because what you're going to realize about Rome, they introduced what you call a social hierarchy. You know what a social hierarchy is? Everyone who is basically in a certain tax bracket. You ever hear someone say, you ain't in my tax bracket? That's social hierarchy. Rome introduced that. Read on.
And it had great iron teeth.
Ooh, great iron teeth. That's talking about the military occupation. So how Rome built up their military was very clever. This is what they did. Anyone that wanted to be a Roman, right? You come to Rome to be a citizen. We give you citizenship if you enlist in our what? Army. In our military. There you go. So they were able to build up their military with many thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of persons who were not necessarily like, Roman by blood per se, but they were what? Other nations that came to be a part of Rome, who call themselves Romans. They call it naturalization, right? You were naturalized. You got citizenship. But one of the ways you can either get your citizenship a little bit cheaper is you enlist in the military. All right, read on.
It devoured and break in pieces.
It devoured and break in pieces. Now, Rome was one of the nations that did what? Implement a heavy taxation. Now, previous to Rome, they had taxation, of course, but never like Rome. Rome kicked it up a notch where everybody got to pay taxes. Now, in Egypt, just the little minions, they got to pay their taxes. In Rome, you rich or you poor, you got to pay them taxes. You understand? So they implemented that. They implemented citizenship as well, the ID system. So everyone had ID system of being recorded, their citizenship back in ancient Rome. All right? And also with Rome, they controlled your movement. All right? You couldn't just go where you wanted to go. Rome was in full, total control. You understand that? That's it on that? Read on.
And stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it.
It was different from all the nations that came before. Because like I mentioned before, when it comes to the taxation system, other nations that rose, they had taxes, yes. But never like how Rome implemented that thing. Rome said everybody got to kick up taxes. And guess what they implemented? The more you earn, the more taxes you got to pay. So it was just different to all the other predecessors before it. The more you earn, the bigger your tax bracket is going to be. All right? Control movement. Read on.
And it had 10 horns.
10 horns. All right? So that's like the exact model that America uses today. If it ain't broke, why fix it? Right? It's exactly what America uses now. They uses Rome's total control. But now, America took that thing up a notch. They said, all right, Rome, hold my glass. Let me show you this. All right? Let's get Luke chapter 2, verses 1. Come down to 5. Luke 2.
Reading from Luke chapter 2 and verse 1. And it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus.
A decree went out from Caesar Augustus. Read on.
That all the world should be taxed.
All the what?
All the world should be taxed.
All the world should be taxed. Everybody gonna get this work. They gonna get taxed. One thing's for sure, two things for certain. If you were living in that time, you got taxes to pay. Life was about taxes during that time. Did you pay your taxes yet? Like literally, that was the talk of the town every day. Every day. Hey, bro, you pay your tax? It ain't no, hey, bro, what's up? What's going on? You good? You all right? Yo, bro, you pay your taxes? Because you know Rome, they're about to start this campaign where everybody who didn't pay their taxes, they come in. That's what it was about. Read on.
And this taxing was first made when Cyrenius was governor of Syria.
Good. So when Cyrenius was governor of Syria, this thing came into implementation where everybody gonna get taxed. Read on.
And all went to be taxed.
And all went to be taxed. Everybody. Rich or poor. Read on.
Everyone into his own city.
Everyone in their own cities, they got taxed. Guess what? Guess who else get taxed? Watch this.
And Joseph
also
went up from Galilee. Out of the city of Nazareth.
So for those of you that don't know, this Joseph is talking about Jesus's or Yahushai's father. Come on.
Into Judea. unto the city of David,
So he went up to pay his taxes to the city of David. Read on.
which is called Bethlehem,
Which is called Bethlehem. Come on.
because he was of the house and lineage of David,
All right. So he got to pay his taxes in his city. Read on.
to be taxed.
To be
with-
what?
To be taxed.
To be taxed
with Mary,
with Mary,
his espoused wife,
his espoused wife. Read on.
being great with child.
Because they were pregnant with Yahushua the Christ. But because they were pregnant with Yahushua the Christ, does that now exclude them from being taxed? No, they went for the purpose of paying their taxes. This is how cutthroat Rome was. Everybody, they got to pay their taxes. You understand that? Let's get Acts 22, verse 25. Acts 22 and verse 25.
Acts chapter 22 and verse 5.
No,
As-
22 and verse 25.
Verse 25. And as they bound him with thongs, Paul said unto the centurion that stood by, Is it lawful for you to scourge a man that is a Roman and uncondemned?
So now they had Paul bound. But it said, is it lawful for you to bound a Roman? But Paul is an Israelite. Paul is from the tribe of Benjamin when you read Romans chapter 11, right? But it says, is it lawful for you to bound a Roman? Read on.
When the centurion heard that,
When he heard that,
he went and told the chief captain,
he went and told the chief captain.
saying, Take heed what thou
He
doest,
said, hey, be careful what you're doing there.
for this man
This man
is a Roman.
is a Roman.
Then the chief captain came and said unto him, Tell me, art thou a Roman?
He said, tell me now, are you really a Roman?
He said, Yeah.
He said, yes, I am.
And the chief captain answered, With a great sum obtained I this freedom. And Paul said, But I was freeborn.
I was freeborn.
Then straightway they departed from him, who should have examined him, when the chief captain also was afraid.
Good. So now what verse you at?
29.
Finish it out.
After he knew that he was a Roman, and because he had bound him.
So Paul had Roman citizenship. He had dual citizenship. Just like many of you today. You got dual citizenship right now. Right? It's very simple to understand. Right? So now you get access to privilege. Right? Like my children, all of them have dual citizenship. Should we need to, access some of the privileges that America has with regard to health care or whatever, they can access that. I did that with that intention of doing that because of accessing those. Paul did that to access those privileges, right? Many of you who watch in the class, you did that to access those privileges, yes? Now, give me John 19, verses 9 to 11. So you got to understand Rome's total control. All right? It's very important for you to understand that. Once you had access to their citizenship, you had access to what they had to offer. Read.
John chapter 19 and verse 9. And went again into the judgment hall and saith unto Jesus.
So Christ is now before Pontius Pilate in the judgment hall, and now he's being asked a question. Read on.
Whence art thou?
He said, where do you come from?
But Jesus gave him no answer.
But Yahushua ain't answer him a word. Read on.
Then saith Pilate unto him,
This is what Pontius Pilate said to Yahushua.
Speakest thou not unto me?
He said, so you're not going to speak to me? That's what you're telling me? You're not going to answer me? That's what you're telling me? So you're not going to speak to me? Do you know who I am? Watch this. Read on.
Knowest thou not that I have power to crucify thee,
He said, you don't know I got the power to kill you. You hear talking about you're not answering me. Read on.
and have power to release thee.
And I have the power whether to release you or whether to kill you. Read on.
Jesus answered, Thou couldst have no power at all against me.
So Yahweh Shai, who was operating on a different spiritual plane, he understood that even though Rome is in power, yes, there's a power above Rome. The power that gave Rome its power. Read on.
Except it were given thee from above.
Except it was given to you from above.
Therefore, he that delivered me unto thee hath the greater sin.
So whoever is the one that bound me, chained me, delivered me to you, they got to worry about that sin when they go in the judgment before the Lord. You understand that? Good. So drop that. All right. And give me, we get into a little bit of now the modern mystery Babylon now. All right. Let's get Revelation 17. All right. So now, Rome, they got that absolute power, whether to kill you or whether to release you. You understand that? Who does that sound like today? Let's get Revelation 17, verses 1 to 18, sorry.
Revelation chapter 17, verse 1. And there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show thee unto thee the judgment of the great whore.
So I will show you the judgment of the great whore, come on,
that sitteth upon many waters.
that sit upon many waters. It's going to explain it. Read on.
With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication.
With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication. Read on.
And the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication.
Now understand this. We read earlier that the secrets of wisdom, they are what? They're double. Also we learned that the prophets were explained these prophecies through allegories, similitudes, dark sayings. So now what you're reading is symbolisms. All right? So the whore is talking about a nation of people. All right? The waters is going to explain all of it. Let's read on.
So he carried me away in the spirit.
In the spirit, because you got to be in the spirit to understand these spiritual things. You're not going to understand this with your worldly eyes. Read on.
Into the wilderness. And I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast.
A scarlet-colored beast, come on.
Full of names of blasphemy.
Full of names of blasphemy.
Having 7 heads and 10 horns.
Having 7 heads and 10 horns.
And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color.
The woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, come on.
And decked with gold and precious stones.
Decked with gold and precious stones, come on.
And pearls.
And pearls.
Having a golden cup in her hand.
Having a golden censer or cup or chalice in her hand, come on.
Full of abomination.
Full of abominations, come on.
And filthiness of her fornication.
And filthiness of her fornication. This is talking about all of, the blasphemies. Now, you might ask yourself this question. Read on, verse 5.
And upon her forehead.
Upon her forehead. Who is this talking about? Read on.
Was her name written. Mystery Babylon the Great.
Mystery Babylon the Great. Read on.
The mother of harlots.
The mother of harlots, or the mother of whores. Come on.
And abominations of the earth.
And abominations of the earth. Now, like I mentioned to you, the spirit never went away. They just regenerated. America is the last final standing nation, all right, that is currently ruling today. Rome regenerated. Greece regenerated, right? So now, when you think of this mother of harlots, this mystery Babylon, it's referring to the United States of America. All right? New aged Babylon. But now you see the rise of Babylon. Babylon didn't just emerge, did it? It came from what? The adopting of all of the former kingdoms that rose, and they took bits and pieces of all of it and formed it into Voltron. Formed it into the mother of all the harlots now. Now it's like you gotta beat this thing. It's final boss, final level. America, Mystery Babylon is that final level that you gotta, you understand? That you're gonna encounter. That's what you're living in right now. All right? Mystery Babylon is America. Watch this, read on.
And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints.
The blood of the saints, your forefathers who died over here in Babylon. Come on.
And with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus.
The martyrs of Yahushua that stood for this word. Come on.
And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration.
With great admiration, wondering, what does this beast represent? Come on.
And the angel said unto me, wherefore didst thou marvel?
So now the angel said, why are you marveling? Now you're going to see the mystery of the woman and the beast. Come on.
I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her.
Okay, good. I'm going to tell you the mystery of this same beast and the woman that carries her. Come on.
Which hath the 7 heads and 10 horns.
So this allegory of the 7 heads and the 10 horns is going to be explained. Read on.
The beast that thou sawest was and is not.
The beast that you saw was and is not. Come on.
And shall ascend out of the bottomless pit.
So now, when this was written to John the Revelator, right? Who was ruling during this time? Who can tell me? Who was ruling? Rome, absolutely. Y'all know this already. Rome was ruling, right? So, was, right? Read it again.
The beast that thou sawest
The beast
was
that you saw was
and is not.
and is not. Come on.
And shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition.
And shall go into perdition. You understand? So, when it comes to Rome, ruling at the time when this prophecy was being given to John the Revelator, right? Remember, Rome did what to the Grecians? They took them over, right? So now they became the new Grecians. They're the Romans. All right, read on.
And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life.
Read.
From the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not, and yet is.
And yet is, still ruling, come on. Still, I mean, it says, and yet is, they're still ruling, meaning Rome, come on.
And here is the mind which hath wisdom.
Now it's going to take you wisdom to understand these things, come on.
The 7 heads are 7 mountains.
7 heads are 7 mountains or rulers, come on.
On which the woman sitteth.
On which the woman sitteth. These 7 heads are Greece, Rome, Spain, France, Germany, Russia, and Great Britain. Again, Greece, Rome, and you should write these down. Please do so. Because when we ask what the 7 heads is, well, I think it's a monster. A 7-headed. No. It's Greece, Rome, Spain, France, Germany, Russia, and Great Britain. Those are the 7 heads. Read on.
And there are 7 kings.
7 kings.
5 are fallen.
5 are fallen.
And 1 is.
And 1 is.
And the other is not yet come.
And the other is not yet come. So, Rome and the other is not yet come. Who's the other that's not yet come? Let me see what they say. Let me see what the brothers say. Who could tell me? So the other ain't yet come, but at the time of this prophecy went out, 1 is, that's Rome, and the one that ain't come yet is who? America. America. Good. Read on.
And when he cometh,
when he comes,
He must continue a short space.
He's going to rule a short space. That's why you know during this time, y'all thinking this show going to go on for a long time. No, it's not. That's why I said many of y'all going to see a lot of things in y'all generation. They're going to be ruling for a short space of time. Not like the others that came before it who was ruling for a very, very, very long time. A very short space of time. Read on.
And the beast that was and is not, even he is the eighth.
Even he is the eighth.
And is of the seven and goeth into perdition.
He's of the seven. So the east, sorry, the beast, right? That has not yet come. He came from what? The seventh, right? What does it mean he came from the seventh? Came out of the seventh. So, Great Britain. Who came out of Great Britain? America. There you go. The pilgrims, right, came over to America and seceded from Great Britain. They say, we ain't want nothing to do with you. America is our land. This land is my land. This land is my land. And they took it from the natives. Everyone get that? So the eighth came out of the seventh. America came out of Great Britain. Everyone understands. Read on.
And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings.
Oh, 10 horns, 10 kings, 10 of the world's superpower. China, the EU, Russia, India, Japan, Germany, the UK, France, South Korea. Right? Read on. Watch this.
Which have received no kingdom as yet.
They ain't received no kingdom as yet because they ain't ruling as yet. Like I just listed out some of them. China, the EU, Russia, India, Japan, Germany, the UK, France. They ain't ruling as yet at the time when this prophecy went out. Come on.
But receive power as kings.
But they will receive power as kings. Come on.
1 hour with the beast.
1 hour meaning for a period of time with the beast. Now, when it comes to these nations agreeing on things together, they go to these summits together, right? They're going to agree for a time. You know what that means? Agree for a time? Who could tell me what that goes into? These other superpowers of the world agreeing with America. What does that look like today? That looks like peace talks, peace agreements, having these summits. You hear of, Mr. Donald Trump, President Trump flying to these countries, making peace with everybody, shaking hands and saying, America is the best it's ever been. It's just amazing. I was over by Putin and we shake hands and this is talking about what seems like they're agreeing together. Everyone gets that? Good. Read on. So they'll agree with her for a time. Read on.
These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast.
They'll yield to what the U.S. says. But are they really going to yield? Let's see. Read on.
These shall make war with the Lamb.
Okay, so they're going to make war with the Lamb, meaning when it comes to Christ and his people, they're going to make war with the Lamb. Come on.
And the Lamb shall overcome them.
But the Lamb is going to overcome them all. Read on.
For he is Lord of lords.
He's Lord of lords.
And King of kings.
And King of kings.
And they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful.
Good. What verse you at?
Verse 15.
Go ahead, read on.
And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the horse sitteth, are peoples and multitudes.
Peoples, multitudes, come on.
And nations and tongues.
Nations and tongues, read on.
And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore.
Stop right there. Earlier we just read they're going to agree together for a short period of time. But the time is going to come where they're going to do what?
shall hate the whore.
They're going to hate that whore. Ooh. So, America is thinking by going around and shaking everybody's hands, they're going to make peace with them. But what's going to happen is they're going to turn on the whore. Again, the nations will turn on the whore. They will hate the whore. Read on.
And shall make her desolate.
Ooh, and make her what?
Desolate.
But I thought America went on the world platform to say we are the biggest, baddest, roughest, toughest nation on the face of the earth. And if anyone tries to come against us, God help them. That's what they went on the world stage and have said repeatedly, that our military, our prowess, our might, our nuclear power can outmatch any military out there. But guess what? China got something that you don't know about. South Korea got something that you don't know. North Korea got something about you don't know. Listen, somebody look up that bomb called Moab. It's literally called, I kid you not, it's called Moab, mother of all bombs. Again, look that up on the internet right now. Who has that? I think it's North Korea has that. Mother of all bombs. It's literally called Moab. That's what it stands for. And as you know, Moab, the nation of Moab, they're the Chinese. All right, read that. Give me some of the specs on that mother of all bombs.
The Moab stands for Massive Ordnance Air Blast Bomb.
Woo!
And unofficially, Mother of all bombs.
Mother of all bombs.
It's one of the largest non-nuclear bombs ever used by the United States.
Okay, good. But here's the thing now. So Moab, right? Now, look up the information on Satan 1 and Satan 2. Right? Satan 1 and Satan 2. So they named that thing Moab, right? They want to drop it on Moab. Right? They want to drop, America want to drop that on Moab. But like I said, the Chinese got something that you don't know about. The Koreans got something that you don't know about. Give me the information on the Satan 2.
The Satan 1 and Satan 2 are NATO nicknames for two generations of Russian intercontinental ballistic missiles.
Ooh, intercontinental ballistic missiles that can travel from the eastern world to the western world in less than 13 minutes. 1-3. It leaves from the east, goes in the air, and travels at super hypersonic speed. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? They have that. They're not going to develop that. They have it right now. Everyone understands. Read on.
Developed by the Soviet Union.
Developed by the Russians.
Known for being one of the largest and most powerful nuclear-capable missiles ever built.
Ever built! Wow.
NATO gave it the code name Satan because of its destructive potential. Satan II, actual Russian name RS-28 Sarmat.
The RS-28 Sarmat. Read on.
Nicknamed Satan II by NATO. A next generation heavy ICBM.
Heavy ICBM. Come on.
Developed by Russia, designed to carry multiple warheads, announced officially in the late 2010s and early 2020s.
So they had this thing since the late 2010s. Y'all understand? This ain't something they're going to develop. This is something that has been already developed. Understand where we at in prophecy. It says they're going to, these nations, they're going to hate the whore. They're going to turn on the whore. Read on.
Verse 15. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues.
Read on.
And the 10 horns shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire.
Burn her with fire. That's talking about the ICBM missiles, intercontinental ballistic missiles. All right? The nuclear warheads that they have. They're They're going to burn her with fire. Read on.
For God hath put in their hearts
God hath put in the hearts of these leaders that control the other nations, come on,
to fulfill his will
to fulfill his prophecies that he have written from the foundations of the earth. Read on.
and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast
And to agree and to give their kingdom unto the beast, come on.
until the words of God shall be fulfilled.
So it's going to look like peace for a time, that they're agreeing with the beast for a time, until it's time for the Lord's words to be fulfilled, when he put it in their heart to do what? Bomb them, turn on them, hate the whore. Everyone gets it. Everyone understands. So the waters, that's the peoples, the multitudes, the nations, all right? So America, remember, when it comes to America, they dominate culture, finance, military, diplomacy, the media, economy, technology. This is exactly what the prophecy is showing you, right? But they're going to be hated by the nations, and the nations are going to turn on them. All right? Let me get Jeremiah 50, verse 22. Jeremiah 50, verse 22.
Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 22. A sound of battle is in the land, and of great destruction.
Read on.
How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken?
Good. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? What is this talking about? America is going to get cut asunder and broken. They're the hammer of the world. They're the world's police. All right? They're going to get cut asunder and broken. Read.
How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations?
How has Babylon now become desolate among all the nations? Because they will turn on her. Read on.
I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou was not aware.
And you were not aware. So that thing is going to come upon Babylon when she least expected. All right? You got to understand. Give me Isaiah 47 and verse 7. You got to understand, when it comes to, there's only one nation that will fit this prophecy today. That's going into America. America is Babylon, mystery Babylon the Great. Isaiah 47 verse 7.
Isaiah chapter 47 and verse 7. And thou saidst, I shall be a lady forever.
So she said, meaning America, Babylon, New Age Babylon, said, I will be what?
I shall be a lady forever.
Meaning what? Sitting pretty forever. I'm going to be a lady forever. I'm going to have all my accoutrements forever. I'm going to be built up strong forever. I'm going to be, that nation that everyone loves to look at forever. Read on.
So that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it.
Because America is not looking to see what the prophecies say is going to be the latter end. America thinks it's going to rule and reign forever. Read on.
Therefore, hear now this. Thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me.
I am, and none else beside me. This is how America, the pride of America, this is how they, puff out their chest by saying there's no other nation that can match us. There's no other military that can overpower us. We are the power of the world. Read on.
I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children.
So, America being allegorized as this woman saying that I'm not going to be a widow, right? My children, they're not going to be lost from me. I'm going to be that woman, I'm going to be that whore. Anybody ever seen a successful whore? Like she's a successful whore and forever. Forever. You've seen a successful whore forever? Forever. She in the strip club. She shaking her tail feather. She making them ones. She paying for her apartment, her condo. And it's going to stay like that forever. No, it never stays like that forever. Them breasts going to get saggy and dry up. She could go do all the lipo she want. That tail feather gon' get stank, right? Question. They say when these women do these butt augmentations, it stinks. Is that true? That's what they say? Listen. That woman might be in her heyday. She making all them thousands of dollars. Listen. They're on OnlyFans. They're making all that money on OnlyFans. You think that's gonna stay like that forever? She driving around in her what's the favorite whore car? They call it a Nissan Altima. Okay, let's say she got a late model Nissan Altima, a 2024. She's driving a 2024. Things nice. Dollars is coming in. She's shaking her tail feather every night. She's sitting doing lap dances. She's making that money, right? Guess what? I've seen documentaries where they say things have started out like that for a season. They started messing with drugs. They started doing escapism, because to do all them customers every single night, you got to be out of your mind. You can't even be in your real self to do those acts. And so they take these drugs to take their mind away from the acts that they're doing. They're laying with different men, 5 different men every day. They're customers. So they do drugs, they do crack, they do cocaine to take their mind away from that. But then guess what? After doing that crack, that cocaine, they turn into fiends. After becoming that, they lose that money they had. They're now out on the streets, right? They're looking crazy. Their hair all disheveled. She still got the work on her body done though. So you're seeing these crackheads with their butts done, walking up to your window talking about, I just need, a little something to feed my children. She ain't gonna feed her children with that. What's she gonna do with that money? She going to get that crack hit. And a lot of women have said they wish they never went into prostitution. They thought, now, didn't you hear a period of time where young ladies who want to go and get it, they say, I'm going to just be a prostitute for a little while. But they don't start out as prostitutes. What they start out as? Who could tell me? Dancers. There you go. I'm going to pay for college. I'm going to pay for school. I'm going to do my what's the number one? So the stripping is the side job. What's the real job that they want to pursue? Who could tell me? A nursing, registered, a RN. I want to be a RN or a CN. But here's the thing. It never lasts forever. That's not sustainable. Being a whore is not sustainable. Right? I want you to understand. America, being that whore allegorized in here, thinks that being a whore will be sustainable. I will sit this woman sitting pretty forever. It's not going to happen though. So whores never see down the road. Like this great whore of all harlots, she can't see down the road. Now wait, you don't realize there's a day coming that all of your abominations will have to be paid for? All of your sins, when they reach up to heaven, God is going to recompense you for all of that? No, a whore just wants to do whore things and continue being a whore. That's what whores do. And this is what America is about. All right? Where you at? What verse you at?
Verse 9.
Okay, drop that and give me Revelation 18. Revelation 18. We'll come back to that as well. Revelation 18. Give me verse 23.
Revelation chapter 18 and verse 23. And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived.
Thy what?
For by thy sorceries.
Thy sorceries, or in the Greek, pharmakeia. For those of you that don't know, the word pharmacy comes from pharmakeia. Again, the word pharmacy comes from the Greek word pharmakeia. All right? So it goes back to the word sorcery. So when you go into the pharmacy, where you really going to? You're going to the sorcerer. There you go. You're going to the modern day witch doctor, because the things that you take there, the pharmaceutical industry is the most, by far, most lucrative industry. It's a $1 trillion industry in America. And they profit from you remaining sick. They don't treat you. What they do? All they do is what? Help you to cope with your symptoms while keeping you hooked on their drugs. If you don't buy their drugs, they don't make no money. So that's why they got to manufacture illnesses and have the serum or the antidote for it, and they're going to sell you in a little capsule. And they're going to say, here, take this. Take 2 of these. Call me in the morning. Read on. So there's sorceries. By thy sorceries, come on.
And in her was found the blood of the prophets.
Blood of the prophets, come on.
And of saints, and of all that were slain upon the earth.
All that was slain upon the earth. All right? Babylon. Okay, good. So now we talk about drugs. We talk about pharmaceutical power. We talk about psychological manipulation. Do you know a lot of the drugs that they have in the pharmacy? They actually go into a lot of mind control. It's modern day pharmakeia. That's what it is, right? Here's another form of indoctrination that America uses. The media. The media has persons heavily indoctrinated. You go on social media, it's a lot of indoctrination going on there, right? So they use the media as a tool to do that. Let's jump over to Revelation chapter 13. All right, verses 16 to 17. Because we're talking about the culmination of this one world agenda. Remember, their job is to bring together a one world agenda. All right, good. Revelation 13, verse 16.
Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16. And he caused it all, both small and great.
Small and great.
Rich and poor.
Rich and poor.
Free and bond.
Free and bond.
To receive a mark in their right hand.
To receive a mark in their right hand.
Or in their foreheads.
Or in their foreheads.
And that no man might buy or sell.
That no man might buy or sell.
Save he that had the mark.
Except he that had the mark. Now, you're going to hear different persons saying or giving their sermonizations on what they think the mark is. The mark is this or the mark ain't that. Now, when it comes to the mark, you go into that Greek word, charagma. It literally means stamp, right? A literal stamp, a stamp, physical mark, right? So, understand this. For those of you that mention, oh, well, we already got, it can't be the chip, so because we already got chips on our bank cards. And listen, it's not going to be that kind of chip. That's number one. Number two, they're working on transparent bioluminescent quantum dot skin patches. So when you put that thing on, that thing looks like your skin. It looks literally like your skin. It fuses with your skin and it becomes one with you. Now, you won't necessarily have to go everywhere and scan yourself. Who ever been through an airport before? If you've been through an airport, you walk through the terminal. If you got things in your pockets that shouldn't be in there, what will happen? Beep, 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 beep. They're going to say, step back through the thing, sir. Put your stuff in the basket. These things will be able to pick up whether you have your bioluminescent patch on you or not. And of course, they're going to develop it in such a way. Let me tell you how it's going to go. They're going to develop it in such a way that's going to not strike any fear in you to make you not want to take it. Now, of course, if it's going inside of your skin, you may think, well, that sounds weird. That sounds, I don't want to put nothing in my skin. How about if we give you the option of just putting like a sticker on your hand that it doesn't even look like a stick, it fuses with your hand and it's bioluminescent, so it can glow whenever it needs to glow. It becomes one with your skin and it literally looks like your skin. Who wouldn't want that? You pay for all of your transactions, all of your information is on there. Now let me take it a step back. Now what you're seeing right now when it comes to the the digital ID. The digital ID is not the mark. Again, let me break this down properly for everybody, please. I've explained this a million times, and I think within the next 5 years, I will have to explain it another million times. But no problem, that's what we're here for. The digital ID that's coming on stream, that's not the mark. That's the predecessor to the mark. Listen very closely. What the digital ID is, it's gathering all of your data that's in different locations right now. Be it your passport, that's in a computer somewhere. Be it your social security card, that's in a computer somewhere. Your social records, that's in your computer somewhere. Your voter's ID, that's in a computer somewhere. All of these are in data banks in different places. What the digital ID will do is what? Combine all of your data that's in different places in one centralized location. And you will be able to have it on your phone. So then you will be able to show and prove that you are who you say you are. Good. But thing is, who could tell me why that won't be the mark as yet? What's the one thing that differentiates why that won't be the mark?
Because
Sorry, the mark yet.
Shalom, General. Because the scripture says that the mark will be placed in your right hand, or in your hand, or your forehead. And that was allegorical.
I mean, yes, technically you're right. But then what's the other thing that differentiates why that won't be the mark? You can say that for me on the microphone for me, please.
Shalom, General. Most in Christ bless.
Most in Christ bless.
During the period of the digital ID, you'll still be able to use cash to make purchases.
Give the brother a hand. You will still be able to use cash. So therefore, that will not be the mark. The mark will be differentiated when you cannot use what? Cash. Good. So the moment when they said fiat currency cannot be used, and now you must, now they're going to start to now implement. Now, I'm going to tell you how it's going to go. Good. It's not just going to happen like that. They have to now implement certain things. Now, the scripture said there will be wars and what? Rumors of what? Rumors of wars. Good. So pay attention to what you're seeing happening with the different nations, with the threats of war and going to war. Now, what's going to happen is little scuffles are going to happen. Now, the economy needs to find a way to be crashed. It ain't going to crash by itself, right? Okay, good. So now, America will do its part to crash the world's economy, crash the stock market. It has to. Because in order to bring on a full justification of digital ID, not using fiat money, fiat currency, but using now digital currency, they have to have a proper justification for it. Everyone gets it. And in order to do that, it's going to come through the wars and the rumors of wars. Now, you're going to see Israel, backed by America, going back and forth with Iran. You're going to see them going back and forth with, what's the other one? Sorry, my mind failing me right now. Who Israel literally just had beef with recently? It was just recent. It was Iran? Somebody help me out.
It's Russia.
No. Somebody help me out here.
It's an ally of Russia.
An ally of Russia. Okay, cool. We know that. What's the name of that nation that Israel just had this scuffle with recently? Right? Let me look it up. Y'all look it up on the internet for me, please. I don't want to say the wrong thing. It's Palestine, right? Is it Palestine?
Hamas,
Is it Hamas?
Gaza.
Gaza. Okay, good. Okay, all praises. You're going to see scuffles going back and forth. And who's helping Hamas? The Houthis, right? They need to buy weapons and they need to buy arms. How do you destabilize nations or countries from buying weapons and buying arms and buying missiles from their allies? How do you do that? Stop currency. If the global market is crashed and we're no longer using fiat currency, your enemies can't buy what? They can't buy weapons. So if you pause or you put a wrench in that plan, that buys America some time now. To now everyone has to get on board with the digital currency. So what's going to happen just before the stock market crashes is you're going to see a scuffle. Wars and rumors of wars is going to kick off. It may look like the end to some of you when you see it on the news. You're going to hear this country bomb this country. But what's happening is they're finding a way to crash the economy, right, through war. But the end ain't yet, because the digital currency has not come fully on stream as yet. Now, they're going to say for protection and security reasons, we will no longer be using the paper money. All right? We're trying to stop terrorism. Like, for instance, why did Trump say we're going to Venezuela? What's the original reason he said? We're trying to stop what?
Drug trafficking.
Drug trafficking. But they're really down there for the what? For the oil, the resources. So similarly, keep it and tell yourself, the way General tell you, you're going to see the thing playing out. What's going to happen is this. They're going to have security concerns saying, well, to prevent our enemies or to have a tighter security on transactions and the control over buying and selling, we're going to do everything now digital. But this is going to happen after the scuffle. Somebody going to drop some weaponry, some bombs, some explosives, and then after that, they're going to say, listen, we got to tighten up. We got security measures we need to put in place. Stock market goes down, digital currency comes on stream. At that point now, what's going to happen is your digital ID that's in your phone, it would have already been implemented, going to now have to be updated to a new system now. But it's going to be very easy. Now it's going to go on the bioluminescent, translucent chip that you will now just wear as a tattoo. It's like, it looks like your skin. It doesn't even look like you're wearing anything. How I'm seeing your skin right now, it looks like that. And many people will feel very comfortable wearing that. Because it doesn't look like anything, right? So, to people, it won't look like I'm taking something. It will just look like I'm just playing my role in society. Doing what I need to do to feed my children. And to pay my bills. And to pay my mortgage. And to pay my utilities. And that's why for many of you who think the American dream is really something that you could be successful at, think again. The American dream, according to the scriptures, if you believe in it, it's going to end in the American nightmare for you. The scriptures show you that. Right? So, we talk about the transparent bioluminescent quantum dot skin patches. It fuses with your skin. All right? Digital ID implant. It fuses with your skin. Now, payment and ID and your medical data, it will be on that bioluminescent chip. All right? And look up bioluminescence. This will blow your mind. Now, for those of you that don't know what bioluminescence is, we're going to show you. Look up the definition of the word bioluminescent. All right? Bioluminescent. All right? Look for the definition for that. Bioluminescent. Because when that sticker becomes one with your skin, it will have the ability to glow. Right? Look up that.
Bioluminescence is the natural ability of a living organism
the natural ability of a living organism, which they're going to take from these living organisms and extract it. Okay, read on.
to produce light
To produce light.
through a chemical reaction
Through a chemical reaction. Watch this.
inside its body. It's basically nature's glow.
It's nature's glow. It's the thing that fireflies use. It's the things that those octopuses in the water that glow. It's the thing that they use as well. And they're going to know how to, what you call, replicate it. These scientists, they know how to replicate that chemical reaction. Read on.
Created without heat.
Created without heat. Read the rest of it.
Bioluminescence
Watch this.
happens when two main things interact.
When two main things interact. So when that thing goes on your skin and it fuses with your skin, it interacts with your skin, it becomes one with your skin. Read on.
Luciferin.
Oh, wait, what's the chemical called?
Luciferin.
What's the chemical called?
Luciferin.
You can't make this up.
A light-producing molecule.
So the chemical is called luciferin. Mind you, Lucifer was a Babylonian king. We just learned about Babylon and the one world dominant agenda. We just learned about that, right? And how Lucifer, well, we didn't do it on this class, but we learned before that Lucifer was a Babylonian king who was very wicked and he wanted the one world order. Read on.
And luciferase.
And luciferase.
An enzyme that triggers the reaction.
It's an enzyme that triggers the reaction. So you have luciferase and what's the other one?
Luciferase.
The one before that is what?
Luciferin.
Luciferin and luciferase. Those are the two chemicals. You cannot make this up. It's right there on Google. All right? Don't worry. We're going to get you right. We're making some improvements. So soon we're going to have for you on screen exactly what we're talking about. You'll be able to see it big and broad right there. Good. So it's designed to glow under specific light. All right, conditions, bioluminescence.
General.
So this is not science fiction. You got something else for me? Go ahead.
And bioluminescent biosensor chips. Scientists can put bioluminescent bacteria or cells engineered to glow on microchips.
Y'all thought I was just, making this up. It's right there. They have already made this stuff. And what they're creating right now is that one that will fuse with your skin and look like your skin. They won't even have to insert it into your body. And for many of you, that's going to be a great deal. Like, listen, it looks like my skin. And guess what? You're not going to be walking on the road and say, he took the chip. You won't know who took it. It's going to look like your skin. You won't going to be like, wait, you can't come in here. You have the chip. You're not one of us. No. Everyone will just look normal. Whether they took it here, it's going to look like their forehead. Whether they took it here, it's going to look like their hand. And you won't have to necessarily scan your hand when you're going into buildings, because what they're going to do is create total control where if you're not authorized to be in a certain designated space, the alarms will go off. Okay? You don't belong in here. As you go in the bank, they will know whether or not you got a bank account in there or not if you're trying to use somebody else's bank account. So no, you won't be able to cut someone's hand off and roll with it and go somewhere. All of that, they already put measures in place for that. You won't be able to cut nobody's hand off and roll with their bioluminescence. No, you won't be able to. Sorry, for those of you that were thinking that, I'll just cut somebody's hand off and it won't work. Sorry. Because everyone will have an ID that's attached to them. If that ain't you, guess what? And guess what? The police will be militarized at a certain point in time where there will be heavy policing. All right? Heavy policing to the point where everything you do will be tracked, recorded. All right? You're going to have a social credit score. Right? They're already putting that in place over in China. You got a social credit score. If you're saying certain things on the internet, then you cannot partake in society. All right? It's modeled after Rome's citizenship tiers. That's what it is. They're going to punish or restrict undesirable behavior. All right? It's all tied to your digital ID and your public compliance. They're going to be doing carbon tracking and behavioral monitoring. All right. All of your purchases will be tracked. All of your movement will be linked to your digital ID. All of your actions will be graded by environmental algorithms. Now, the Bible talks about the prophecy that says the famine will come. Now, the famine will not look like what you think it's going to look like, all right, in terms of no food, no water. It's just not going to be real food and real water. That's what it's going to be. Manufactured, lab-grown food. So it's going to be a lack of real food. That's why Bill Gates and many of the other so-called philanthropists are buying up the farmlands to destroy the farmlands so they can now make facilities that manufacture what? Lab-engineered foods. So that's going to be the famine that the Bible mentions is coming. A lack of real food, real nutrients. And we already mentioned to everyone, stock up, do your canning, do your preserving methods. All right? Keep doing it. It's not a one and done thing. It's a continual thing. Keep doing it because you don't know when that thing going to jump off. So keep doing it. All right? And even if you haven't started yet, it's not too late to start. All right? Good. Understand your priorities. Some of y'all got your priorities twist upside down. All right? Good. So lab-made food, controlled agriculture. They're going to remove natural farming. They've already started doing that. All right? They're going to have patent-controlled food supply. All right? Just like how Egypt had controlled the grain. All right? So they want dependency and obedience. Okay? They want you to depend on. So this is what the beast thrives on. Dependency and obedience. All right? They're going to have 15-minute cities. For those of you that don't know. All right? So modern Rome. Let's go back to ancient Rome. Ancient Rome had checkpoints in every city. Today they're going to have a re-emergence of that. All right? Digital gates, geofencing, movement permissions. All of it will be tied to your bioluminescent chip. You won't be able to just go anywhere, catch a flight anywhere, do what you want to do, go where you want to go. I know many of you thinking you're going to be able to genial the system or, get a loophole. It's going to be very, very, very difficult for you to do so. All right? Subscription-based lifestyle. Who knows what that is? Everything will be a subscription. Everything, even the car you drive. All right? They're going to phase out the cars that you see now. And that ain't too far in the future because now, check this out. Even if you drive a regular car, you're going to need a subscription, a tax subscription to make sure. Now, everyone has to put what on their car to drive for 365 days? What you got to put on your car? Well, insurance, yes. But what? There you go. A sticker. A license sticker. That allows you to drive for 365 days. And when it expires, you got to renew it, right? There will be a heightened version of that. I want everyone to understand. So even your cars will be subscription based. All right? Your housing, your electricity, right? Your rent, your mortgage, all of it will be controlled. Digital services, all right? Even your clothing, all right? So just like Rome had to require tribute and payment for privileges, you will have to do the same in this new one world order, all right? When it comes to your work and your spending and your travel, everything is going to be filtered through the beast system. All right? So once that ID hits your skin, the control is going to be total. Now, we had a class called Total Control a while back. Check that out if you get a chance. All right? So this is Babylon in its final form. Get for me 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 13. The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15 and verse 13. So Babylon, final form. The book of 2nd Ezra.
2nd Ezra, chapter 15 and verse 13.
Watch this.
They that till the ground shall mourn,
They that till the ground shall mourn.
for their seeds shall fail through the blasting and hail.
So those of you who thinking that your farming is going to be sustainable, it won't. It says your seeds are going to fail during that time. Come on.
And with a fearful constellation, woe to the world and them that dwell therein.
Woe to the world, meaning death and destruction to the world and them that dwell therein. Read for me verse 14. Okay, sorry. Give me verse 17.
Verse 17. A man shall desire to go into a city.
A man shall desire to go into a city. So we talked about what? Controlled travel, right? This is what it's talking about. Government controlled spending and travel. Read on.
And shall not be able.
And you shall not be able. For many of you who decide you're not taking the bioluminescent sticker, okay, you won't be able. It's as simple as that. Give me verse 22.
Verse 22. My right hand shall not spare the sinners.
So understand this. The sinners are those that break God's laws. 1 John 3 and 4 mentions sin is the transgression of the law. So God says he will not spare those who break his laws. Read on. So for those Israelites right now, you're listening to this class, understand the only thing that's going to give you a fighting chance to escape any of the tribulation or to be protected during the tribulation, because you can't escape it, but to be protected and to be preserved during the tribulation, you got to stop breaking God's laws, because he says his right hand will not spare sinners. Read on.
And my sword shall not cease over them that shed innocent blood upon the earth.
Good. Jump down to verse 24.
Verse 24. Woe to them that sin and keep not my commandments, said the Lord.
Woe to them that sin and don't keep God's commandments. So you're listening to this right now. I know you're hearing a lot about what Babylon will do, a lot about what Babylon is doing. Understand this. What's going to give you the opportunity to be preserved during all of this is when you stop breaking God's laws and come back to keeping his commandments. All right? So, because you got to understand, when it comes to the fall of Babylon, it's going to be fast, it's going to be violent, and it's going to be very unsuspected. Let's get the book of Revelation chapter 18. Revelation chapter 18 and verse 1.
Reading from the book of Revelation, chapter 18 and verse 1.
Come on.
And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven,
Another angel come down from heaven,
having great power,
having great power,
and the earth was lightened with his glory.
and the earth was lightened with his glory. Read on.
And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen.
He cried with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen. Come on.
Is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils.
And has become the habitation of devils. Read on.
And the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird.
So Babylon is the culmination of everything that is abominable in the earth. If you want to be a homosexual and thrive as a homosexual, go live in America. You want to be a transvestite and be famous and make it in the world, go to America. You want to be, what? A pedophile midget that likes bestiality and you want your own talk show? Go to America. You will make it there. I kid you not. America makes the space for everyone that loves abominable things. It's what they do. Literally, the Bible just lets you know it's the cage of every unclean, hateful thing. Right? Read on.
For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication.
All nations have learned from her. All nations have modeled after her. All nations have done things after her manner. All nations have done business and commerce with her. Read on. And not only that, they profited from her fornication as well. Read on.
And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her.
The kings of the earth have done commerce with her, committed fornication with her, meaning what? They profited off of her abominations. Everyone gets that? Read on.
And the merchants of the earth are waxed with rich through the abundance of her delicacies.
So the nations of the earth get waxed with what? The abundance of her delicacies. They got little kids working in sweatshops for 5 cents a day. So you could wear your beloved Jordans and your Nike and you name it. All of the name brands that people kill themselves over to buy. A little child had to work in a sweatshop, right? With little to no money so that you could wear your beloved and coveted name brand clothing. And America doesn't see anything wrong with that. So all of the nations have waxed rich off of her delicacies. Read on.
And I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people."
Come out of her. So coming out of her means literally coming out of that westernized philosophy that America taught you that was okay. Coming out of that one world totalitarian system. Coming out of the ways of America. You're going to have to separate yourself from the American dream. That's literally what you're going to have to do. Separate yourselves from the American dream. Now, many of you might think, well, can't we do both? Can't we live the American dream and still serve God? Sorry, the answer is no. What you can do, though, is while you're living there, you keep God's laws and understand this is not your rest. There's something after this. They've already defiled this whole earth. All right? So, read on.
That ye be not partakers of her sins.
Because you don't want to be a partaker of her sins. Once you're joined to Babylon in thought, in mind, in spirit, that means you will also agree with the things that Babylon says is okay. And you will find an excuse to celebrate Thanksgiving Day. You will find an excuse to celebrate Christmas. That's you being one mind with Babylon. And everyone that you see making an excuse, whether they live in Babylon or not. Come next week, Thursday, and come December 25th. Any of you have family members that justify why I'm going to go and celebrate a pagan ritual? Tell yourself they are one with Babylon. If you're going to say, I'm doing it for the kids, well, what are you going to do when God says it doesn't matter why you did it? You're going to get destroyed still. Read the last part again. Separate yourselves from Babylon, their ways, their philosophies, their doctrines, their paganism.
That ye be not partakers of her sins.
So that you don't be partakers of her sins and her abominations. Read on.
And that ye receive not of her plagues.
That you don't receive her destruction that's coming. Because America has a destruction that's coming. And you don't want to be one with America, the way they think, the way they move, the way they act, their justifications for celebrating their pagan holidays. You don't want to be one with that. Because you're going to receive also the destruction that's coming with that. So for many of you that got family members, I know, they say what? I've heard this. Well, we only get certain days off in the year. We use that day to do what? Go visit family. They say, well, they get the Thursday off, which is next week, Thursday. They get it. That don't mean go sit around a table, right? Feasting in commemoration to the killing of the Native American Indians, the tribe of Gad, who were the Israelites that the Bible speak of. And you go sit around and eat yourself some ham and other abominable food and say, I'm thankful that we're able to get this day off so we can see family. Well, you know what? Our people gathering together, they always do it for the wrong things. You ever notice that? Our people would only see each other at a funeral. Our people would only come together for a family reunion after someone dies. Now everybody flying in for the funeral, right? Y'all don't check up on each other during the year. Y'all don't follow with one another throughout the passage of time. But let somebody die. Oh, uncle such and such flying in. Oh, cousin such and such flying in. And they come together for the funeral. And then after that, you don't hear from them again. They only come when somebody dies. And that's the only thing that brings, sadly to say, that's one of the things that bring our people together. That, and when a big storm or hurricane come, now you see everyone want to help everybody and beat. You see the most peace happening among people when the Lord sent a category 5 hurricane that wipes out the land. Now, neighbors who were enemies, they're now friends. Destruction is what brings our people together. Now, it makes you wonder, why you think the Lord sent all these plagues and destruction, Deuteronomy 28 curses? It's the only thing that's going to make you turn back to the Lord. For those of you that just coming into the truth wondering, why did God curse his people? Why did he put these punishments on us? It's the only thing that's going to make you stop and realize we went the wrong way. Everyone gets it? Good. Read on.
For her sins have reached unto heaven.
So America's sins have piled up and stacked up and reached unto heaven. Read on.
And God hath remembered her iniquities.
And God has not forgotten about America's iniquities. Everyone gets that. What verse you at?
Verse 6.
Good. Read on.
Reward her even as she rewarded you.
Reward her even as she has rewarded you.
And double unto her double according to her works.
So understand this. America will receive double for what she's done. So whatever America did, she's going to get back to her double. That's the amount that the Lord will dispense back to her. Read on.
In the cup which she hath filled, fill to her double.
Read on.
How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously.
And lived deliciously. Come on.
So much torment and sorrow give her.
So the amount of deliciousness she lived in is the amount of torment she's going to receive. Read on. And understand this. This goes into how they enslave your forefathers, whip them, beat them, hung them, cut pregnant women's bellies out while the child was unborn. Right? Understand what they did to your forefathers. Understand what they're doing now. They still haven't let your people go. You're still working for them under heavy taxation. They've taxed the whole world. Right? So understand, America will receive back to it for its abominations double. Read on.
For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow.
I sit a queen and I'm no widow, like we read in the book of Isaiah. She's saying that destruction never gonna reach me. I could be the world's filthiest nation, rob everyone through rape, rob, murder, killing, stealing, going to everyone's land, plunder it, right? This is not back then. America's still doing this today. That's their modus operandi. Take it by force. Read on.
And shall see no sorrow.
Oh, America thinking they're not going to see any sorrow. Like the book of Obadiah mentions, that's the pride in their heart that the Lord said he's going to cut down. He will cut them down for the pride in their heart. Read on.
Therefore.
What verse you at?
Verse 8.
Read on.
Therefore shall her plagues come in one day.
Oh, her plagues are going to come suddenly. Read on.
Death and mourning.
Death and mourning.
And famine.
And famine.
And she shall be utterly burned with fire.
This is talking about burned with fire from the bombs and the missiles when all the other nations that hate her turns on her. Come on.
For strong is the Lord God who judgeth her.
So when all the nations turn against her, it's the Lord that's judging her. Read on.
And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her.
All of the other nations that profited from her abominations. Come on.
Shall bewail her and lament for her.
So they're going to be mourning for her when she gets bombed. Read on. These other nations. Read on.
When?
Is it because they're so sorry for America? Is it because they're going to be so sorry for her? Let's see why they're going to feel like they're mourning for her. Read on.
When they shall see the smoke of her burning.
Watch this.
Standing afar off. For the fear of her torment.
The fear of her torment.
Saying, alas, alas.
Alas, alas.
That great city Babylon.
That great city Babylon.
That mighty city.
For
For in 1 hour
In 1 hour
is thy judgment come,
has her judgment come. Read on.
and the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over
Now
her.
let's see why they're going to weep. Is it because they're so sorry for her? Let's see.
For no man buyeth their merchandise anymore.
Oh, so it was all about money. Money was the motive. Money was the motive. Because when you can't get rich with her anymore, we feel sorrowful. Read on.
The merchandise of gold and silver,
Gold and silver, come
and
on.
precious stones,
Precious stones
and of pearls,
and of pearls,
and
read.
fine linen,
And fine linen,
and purple, and silk,
purple and silk.
and scarlet, and all thine wood,
Read on.
and all manner vessels of ivory, and all manner vessels of most precious wood, and of brass, and iron, and marble.
Anything you want to get, where can you shop for it? America. Everyone understands that. Read on.
And cinnamon, and odors, and ointments, and frankincense, and wine, and oil, and fine flour, and wheat, and beast, and sheep, and horses, and chariots, and slaves, and souls of men.
This is why a lot of people move to America. Why? Why do a lot of people move from the other countries to America? Because of the accessibility of things. They got everything up there you could imagine. And once you got the money, you could get it. Once you're living in America, you got that money, you could get that thing on your doorstep. How soon? Maybe tomorrow, 2 days. If it's on Amazon or eBay, you can get it. Absolutely. Same day shipping. Right? But this is why the other nations are going to bewail her, because they can't do merchandise with her anymore. All right, what verse you at?
Verse 14.
Okay, drop that. Drop that and give me, I want to just touch back on verse 4 really quickly before I move on. I want to just drive this home.
Verse 4.
Uh-huh.
And I heard another voice from heaven, saying, Come out of her, my people.
Come out of her. So, listen, you have to leave Christianity. You must. That's part of Babylon as well. Controlled religion. You have to leave these Christian churches. You must come out of it. Otherwise, you're going to receive her plagues. You must come out of the mentality of Babylon. Spiritually, you got to separate yourselves. Stop celebrating these pagan feast days that they gave you. The colonists gave you Thanksgiving Day. Those pilgrims. That's their holiday. That's not your holiday as an Israelite man, woman, or child. If you're a Negro, Hispanic, or indigenous, you are an Israelite, and you got to come out of Babylon's spiritual system. Separate yourselves so that you don't receive the plagues when Babylon get hit. Because one thing's for sure, two things for certain: Babylon will get hit with the plagues. Prophecy says it. It's coming. It's on the way. Good. Drop that and give me Baruch 4:1. Baruch chapter 4 verse 1. This is what you must do. All right, Israel? This is what you must do. Baruch 4 and verse 1.
Baruch chapter 4 and verse 1. This is the book of the commandments.
This is the book of the what?
Of the commandments.
The book of the commandments
of God.
Uh-huh.
And the law that endureth forever.
The laws of God endure forever. They're not done away with. Don't think that because Jesus came, now the law is done. Christ said, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled. And as you see, we're reading about prophecies that have not been fulfilled as yet. So it means that you got to keep the law still. Read on.
All they that keep it shall come to life.
All they that keep God's laws shall come to life, meaning you're going to come to life by getting eternal life. You're going to wake up from being spiritually dead, and you have now the opportunity to now attain eternal life. Drop that and give me Psalms 19 verse 7. All right, Psalms chapter 19 verse 7.
Psalms chapter 19 and verse 7. The law of the Lord is perfect.
So God's laws are perfect. Read on.
Converting the soul.
Converts the soul. So if you want your soul to be converted from all of that westernization that has been going on in your mind, all of those westernized spirits that have got you thinking that it's okay to justify the things that Babylon is about or America is about, then what you got to do is apply God's laws so that you can be converted. Read on.
The testimony of the Lord is sure.
The testimonies and the prophecies of the Lord, they are what?
Is sure.
They are sure. Read on.
Making wise the simple.
When you start keeping God's laws, you will now start to understand things and understand the scriptures and understand what's happening around the world. All of it is prophecies that must come to pass. Drop that and give me Daniel chapter 7 verse 18. The book of Daniel chapter 7 verse 18.
Daniel chapter 7 and verse 18. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever.
So it says the saints of the Most High God, they will take the kingdom and do what?
Possess the kingdom forever.
They're going to possess the kingdom forever. It will belong to them forever. Read on.
Even forever and ever.
Even forever and forever. So there's coming a time in the new kingdom where the saints of the Most High God will possess the kingdom forever. But let's read on. But I want to show you who the saints are. All right? Drop that and give me the book of Psalms, right? Give me the precept for saints. All right? The ones who've made a covenant with me. Psalms 50 and verse 5. Psalms chapter 50. Let's see who the saints are, because many people think, well, everyone, all the nations are the saints if they just believe on Jesus. Let's see who the saints are.
Psalms chapter 50 and verse 5.
Come on.
Gather my saints together.
Gather my saints together.
Unto me.
Unto me.
Those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice.
What nation made a covenant with the Lord through sacrifice? That's the Israelites. Those keeping the commandments, those are the saints. Jump back now to Daniel 7 and 18.
Daniel chapter 7 and verse 18.
Read on.
But the saints
who've made covenant with the Lord through sacrifice, that nation, the Israelites who keep God's commandments, read.
Of the Most High shall take the kingdom.
They shall take the kingdom.
And possess the kingdom forever.
And possess the kingdom forever.
Even forever.
Even forever.
And ever.
And ever.
Then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, which was diverse from all the others.
So that fourth beast, Rome, being different from all the others. So now understand this. America was the new age Rome. That's who succeeded Rome. America. America is mystery Babylon that came out of Rome. But pursuant to coming out of Rome, remember, the 8th came from the 7th. So Great Britain, the pilgrims seceded from them and now took the other lands in America. And thus the United States of America was born. The Bible mentions how America is the mother of all harlots, the mother of whores, mystery Babylon, where all of the world's filth and abominations have culminated, stacking to the sky. It says her sins have reached where? To heaven. Okay, good. Give me the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 6. 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 7.
2nd Ezra chapter 6 and verse 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times?
What shall be the parting asunder of the times? Come on.
Or when shall be the end of the first,
When shall be the end of the first,
and the beginning of it that followeth?
and the beginning of it that followeth?
And he said unto me, From Abraham unto Isaac,
Now listen closely. From Abraham to Isaac,
when Jacob and Esau were born,
when Jacob and Esau were born, fraternal twins in Rebekah's womb. Read on.
Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau,
Jacob's hand took hold of Esau's heel. So this is all allegorical. Understand, he didn't just born holding his brother's heel. It's all allegorical. Let's see what it means.
for Esau is the end of the world,
Esau, or the modern day Caucasian white man, is the end of the world. What does that mean spiritually as well? Who could tell me? They're the last ruling nation. They're the end of this world. Watch this.
and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth.
And Jacob is the beginning of it, meaning the kingdom that's to come, the kingdom that's to follow, the kingdom that's on the way, the kingdom that we're striving to attain. It says Jacob, meaning the 12 sons of Jacob who are the Israelites. Right? They're going to be the beginning of it that follows. Read on.
The hand of man is betwixt the heel and the hand.
The man of hand is between the heel and the hand. Come on.
Other question, Ezra,
That's
ask
it,
thou not.
That's it on that. All right? Good. So now Esau is the end of this world. Jacob, the 12 tribes of Israel, is the beginning of the world that's on the way. Let's get Revelation 11 and verse 14. Revelation 11 and verse 14. Revelation chapter 11 and verse 14.
Revelation chapter 11 and verse 14. The second woe is past.
So the second woe is past. The second world war has been passed. Come on.
And behold, the third woe cometh quickly.
The third world war is coming quickly. Understand this. Read on.
And the seventh angel sounded, and there were great voices in heaven,
Great
saying,
voices in heaven saying,
The kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord,
the kingdoms of this world will be translated into the kingdoms of our Lord. Read on.
and of his Christ, and he shall reign forever and ever.
How long will Christ reign for?
Forever and ever.
Forever and forever. So that's the way it's going to play out. Understand this. Mystery Babylon is America. Mystery Babylon has emerged or gotten its adaptations of its ways from its predecessors. Rome, Greece, all of these things didn't just pop up today. It goes all over. If you look back into the origin of anything, you'll see many of the things that are done today come from ancient Rome and ancient Greece, especially in the way America rules with that iron fist. They took it up a notch from Rome. Everyone understands. So the same way Rome fell, America is also going to fall. All right? Because she thinks she sits pretty, and she will not be a widow, and she will not lose her children. You understand that? So the scriptures say otherwise. All right? All praises. So we're going to end it there today. All right? All praises to the Most High. We want to thank you for joining us today. We hope that you were enlightened. You got some edification. All right? You can start preparing yourselves. You can now understand spiritually what you need to do to prepare yourself. Stop breaking God's laws. Prepare yourself for what's to come. Understand the wars and the rumors of wars. The scripture says the end is not yet. There's a lot of prophecies that still got to take place. We still got to go through that tribulation of, having to survive without taking the bioluminescent chip, the bioluminescent sticker, that bioluminescence that's, allows you to buy and sell. We got to still be able to survive that period of time. Everyone gets it. Everyone understands. So, we're going to be doing a couple series, shorter series on things you can do to prepare yourselves both physically and spiritually for this thing because it's going to happen, and it's happening before your eyes. St. Kitts just brought on what? They're preparing to now digitize all of our identifications here. The Taiwanese were ever so gracious to help us out and to give us all of the systems that will allow us to do it. And of course, our government will be like, thank you so much. We love the opportunity. Thank you, thank you. We're going to put these systems to good use and digitize everyone. You understand? So, this is where we at right now in the leg of prophecy. It's happening for many of you. Like, for instance, in the UK, they said by next year, you won't be able to work without your digital ID. But again, I don't want you to be alarmed as yet until they stop using paper money. The scriptures say you won't be able to buy or sell. All right? So although you may not in the UK be able to work without it, you still could buy and sell in the store even if you don't have it. All right? But like I told you how the trajectory is going to go, scuffle is going to kick off, bombs are going to drop. It's not the end yet, though, but they're just ushering in the crashing of the economy, disabling the America's enemies from being able to buy arms. So going into digital currency will seem like it makes sense security-wise. Then everyone's digital ID that's on their phone will have to now have an updated form by implementing the bioluminescence. And at that point, they will stop using cash money because they say it's safer and it prevents the terrorists from doing transactions and buying arms and buying weapons to take them out. So they want to track, because you can't really track cash like that. Although there's a paper trail, you got to hire forensic accountants to like go way back to see where this money came from. But when it's digital, you could track that thing in a second. We know where the money came from, we know where it went, and we say, oh, they just bought 50,000 crates of guns and bombs. We know where it came from. So they're going to do all of that, and they're going to make it seem very patriotic, like we're doing it to protect the people. Digital currency is the way to go for a protected nation, for a safer nation, for a better nation. Let's all put hand in hand together to bring on stream digital currency. The future is the way to go. It's going to sound smooth, amazing. It's going to sound like, listen, why didn't we do this before? And we're doing it to protect you from, like I said, America, we're doing this to protect you from terrorists. And you're going to hear the echo chambers out there. Yeah, our president is doing this for us. Digital currency. You heard it here. It's already in here what's going to happen. Don't fall for it. All right? Don't fall for it. All praises. So with that, we're going to close out. We got Feast of Dedication coming up on the 29th of November. Tap in with us if you need to know how to celebrate that thing, or if you want to celebrate with us, tap in with us. Don't forget to give your alms, your donations, and your offerings. The description bar has the information that you need to give unto the Lord, to give into his mission, to give into his occupation of what he's doing in the earth. All right? All praises to the Most High. Whether you have PayPal, whether you have Mo Banking, your local, the information is in the description below on ways you can give to the Lord's mission. All praises. So with that, Israel, we're going to close out. We're going to see you next week. Same time, same place. Stay blessed and stay in the spirit. We love you, Israel. Shalom. Hey, let's give it up for the Most